He's Bob Kravitz, great columnist, the Indianapolis Star, and figured we would check in with Bob. Maybe he can decipher something here that I'm not seeing or read between the lines with Jim Irsay. Those comments about Peyton Manning and the Colts and Super Bowl rings. And help me out here, Bob. Is Jim Irsay saying something? Is it a shot at Peyton Manning, or am I missing something here?
No, I don't think that it is. I think if he's taking a shot at anybody, and I don't know that he really is, if he's taking a shot at anybody, it's Bill Polian for building teams that were great in the regular season and just weren't built for the postseason. But even then, I think all he's saying here is that, he said this on several occasions that he was frustrated that they only got one Super Bowl championship during the Peyton Manning era. So I guess I'm a little confused as to why John Fox would take such umbrage at what Irsay had to say. I didn't think he showed a lack of appreciation or recognition for what Peyton has done for Indianapolis and for that organization. I think he just wants to make it clear that they're changing the business model a little bit. They're changing the way they're going to build the team. They're going to try to, follow the blueprint set forth by the New England Patriots, where you have a more balanced team that has good special teams, good defense, and a running game to augment what Andrew Luck can do.
Yeah, I agree with you. He might have been taking a shot at the architect of those teams, Bill Polian, but he mentions Brady by name. He doesn't mention Ben Roethlisberger, doesn't mention Eli Manning with winning a couple of Super Bowls, and he talked about being frustrated. I get that you're frustrated, but he also says Star Wars numbers with Peyton Manning. I don't know. It feels like there's something there, and maybe Jim didn't mean it, but if I'm Peyton Manning, and Peyton's got rabbit ears, Peyton's probably going to take this and say, all right, a little bit of a shot there.
We're going to go out and talk to Peyton here in Denver in a couple of hours. My guess is that he's going to take the high road and dismiss it, and I think he's pissed off. I think that, Peyton as I know Peyton, and you're right. He remembers everything, and he does have rabbit ears, and it's also one of the things that makes him great is that he can find inspiration pretty much anywhere. I don't believe, and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't believe John Fox would have said what he said if he didn't have some indication from Peyton Manning that he was angry.
Yep, I agree.
It's a guess, but I just don't think that comes out of nowhere.
Tony Dungy brought it up yesterday. If you know what you know now about Peyton and his abilities, and you're presented with, do we keep him at that high price tag, or do we let him go because we want to change the model and we get Andrew Luck and we're going to save money? If you said right now to Jim Irsay, what would you do? Be truthful. What do you think Irsay would do?
I think he'd do exactly the same thing. I think that this was, I think it was a very difficult divorce, but I think it was a no-brainer. I've had Jim tell me on many occasions that 31 other owners would have done precisely the same thing. I think even if he knew that Peyton was going to come back and be 100% and be able to give him another 3 great years, I think he would have said, you know what? He wouldn't have been able to win big in Indianapolis because they would have had to have gutted that team. Reggie Wayne, I don't believe would have been back. Robert Mathis wouldn't have been back. Dwight Freeney probably wouldn't have been back. They would have been, and they would have kept guys like Dallas Clark, maybe Melvin Bullitt, Gary Brackett. They would have kept that old gang of mine together. And that was a group that was past its prime, that was making a ton of money, that was injury prone. So I think if Peyton had come back, and even if he'd been as good as he's always been, I think that would have been a team that would have struggled just to make the playoffs.
Have fun today. Thank you, Bob.
All right, my pleasure, Dan.
Bob Kravitz, Indianapolis Star. In Denver, getting ready to talk to Peyton Manning.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.